A lot of people don't understand how social media works in order to generate income from it. I think we all know how powerful social media is, and we all have an idea in our heads of what social media might be able to do for our business, but we don't necessarily all know how it works and then how to generate revenue from it. Welcome again to the Agent Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Cafarella. Our company, our brand, Agent Investor, is the only brand that helps real estate agents get off the real estate roller coaster. What that means is that we help agents not only sell homes, but to combine being an agent with being an investor so that you can make big chunks of income, that you can invest in passive assets so that you get paid each and every month so that you no longer have to 100% rely on selling homes, which means you don't have to worry about the market. You don't have to worry about working with bad clients, and you can build a real estate business that you love, that you can work when you want and not have to work when you don't have to work. If that sounds good to you, continue listening. Today, again, we're going to talk about that topic that I mentioned because I got asked the question in my seller group today. For those of you who are not aware of my seller group, my seller team, our company generates over 100 seller appointments every single week where we meet with homeowners in their living room to give them a cash offer. Now, a good chunk, 80% of those seller appointments are more retail opportunities, meaning that when we get the seller on the phone, we realize that they probably should list their house. They probably shouldn't sell to a cash buyer based on their needs. So we send real estate agents out on those appointments that are on my seller team. If you're on my seller team, you get a guarantee of a minimum of one seller appointment per week, each and every week. The average closing rate for those is between 25 and 30%, which means that if you're on my seller team, you should be getting at least one listing every single month. If you want to go on seller appointments and you're thinking that this is the year that you want to transition your business more towards sellers, jump on my next call to learn more about being on my seller team by going to www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. And again, we actually set and book those seller appointments for you. People that are on my seller team go out, they meet with the sellers, and we get contracts signed, we get listings. And of course, those listings turn into open houses and buyer leads and sign calls and all that good stuff. So anyways, if you want to learn more about my seller team, go to www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com and jump on my next call to learn more about that. Now, with that being said, I got asked a question. We have a seller team chat. And the question got asked today, let me actually read the question because I want to get it verbatim. The question that was asked was, where do I find social media info to post to social media? So meaning you want to post to social media, where do you get the content? And I started answering that question in my seller group. And then I realized that this is a question that a lot of people probably have. And I know for sure I've got over 400 agents in my brokerage. A lot of people don't understand how social media works in order to generate income from it. So I think we all know how powerful social media is. And we all have an idea in our heads of what social media might be able to do for our business, but we don't necessarily all know how it works and then how to generate revenue from it, more importantly, right? And when I read that seller team question, somebody said, where do I get real estate info to post on social media? And somebody responded, and they put a link to Keeping Current Matters, which is a company that produces infographics and information that you can post on social media about real estate. It's basically facts and figures and tidbits and stuff that you can basically take their graphics or you can take their info and then you can post it on your social media account. And what I started to explain is how that really it's not how social media needs to be done in order to monetize and make money on social media. Now, I'm not knocking the company. I think they've actually got a cool product, but the objective with social media, I'm sure all of you will agree, is not just to post something, right? Like we're not going on social media. We're not talking about social media just because we want to post for fun. Like we're doing it for a purpose. And the purpose is to gain business and ultimately get money. Like we want to use social media to put money in our bank account. That's what we're really asking. That's what we're really, trying to do. So I want to talk a little bit about how to do that. I've personally had a lot of success doing that. You can go onto my profile at Tommy Cafarella. You can check and see how I do it. I'm going to talk about how I might recommend that you do this yourself for your business, depending on what type of business you're looking to get. But you can go to Tommy Cafarella. If you're on there, send me a friend request, follow me. But you can scroll down and kind of see how I do things. And I will tell you that I do monetize my personal profile. So you'll see that with the types of posts that I do. Um, but I want to talk first, like why social media? Why does everybody talk about it? Why do people even believe that it might make you money? Like why does it seem valuable? There's a lot of reasons for this. But one really good thing about social media that's different from probably any other platform that you can use is social media is free. So if you put an ad up on a billboard or you mail a letter or you do a radio ad or you do a TV ad or you do a Google pay-per-click, it's going to cost you money, right? Social media is very unique. You can put out content for free. And social media is even better in a lot of ways than putting up a billboard or mailing a letter because the people who see our social media posts are people who already have some sort of connection to us. Furthermore, they can look at our profile. They can look at our past posts. They can do some research on us from our profile. So people can actually get a good understanding of who we are and what we do, even if they don't really, really know us. Like I'm sure you have done this yourself, where somebody has made a post and they maybe haven't talked to them in a long time. You wonder what they're up to. And then you check out their profile and then you scroll through some of their posts and you get a good feel for maybe whether you would want to talk to that person or maybe do business with that person. So social media is free, right? When I do a post on Facebook, which is my preferred method of social media, it doesn't cost me anything, it costs me no money. And depending on how engaged my Facebook followers and friends are, my post might be seen by as many as 10,000 people. It's a lot of people. So if you think about it like that, it's free and it's powerful. Again, would I rather 10,000 people see my billboard or 10,000 people see my social media post? And I would argue all day long my social media post, because if you're connected to me, whether you follow me or you're friends with me on Facebook, if you see my content, like you've already kind of known me a little bit. So it's a little bit warmer of like an advertisement, if you want to call it an advertisement. Okay. So social media is powerful, it's impactful, but it has to be done the right way. One thing that a couple pointers before I go into some more detail, that I would recommend that you all do like right away. The first thing is you need to know how many people are actually seeing what you post, and you want to have some data around how you're doing. So if you're a real estate agent, or even if you own a business of any kind, one thing that I would do automatically that costs you no money and you can do in 2 minutes is you need to make your profile and turn it into professional mode. Now, if you don't know exactly how to do that, you can put it into YouTube. I'm not going to be able to do a good job of verbally explaining it, but basically turning your Facebook personal into professional mode will allow you to see a bunch of data on what you're posting. Okay. The second thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your profile is reflective of what you want people to know about you. So again, if you look at my profile and you look at what I have in there and you look at my links to my training and stuff like that, you want to make sure that if somebody goes on your profile, there's calls to action, that the pictures that you have up there are what you want people to see. I know that sounds obvious, but it's common that I'll go on a real estate agent's profile and I'll look and I won't know they're in real estate, or I'll see a bunch of photos where I'm like, geez, like, how can this person think that they're going to get business from this? Like stuff like that. Okay. So we talked about using social media for a purpose. Again, the question that I got asked earlier that kind of sparked this conversation for me was somebody was basically in a nutshell saying, how do I just like post? Not with the second thought of like, how do I post to get money in my pocket? Like just posting 5 times a week isn't going to do anything for you. You've got to post the right things. You've got to get the right engagement. You've got to have the right call to action. So what you don't want to do, which is why I'm recording this right now, is you don't want to just buy like Keeping Current Matters or a program like that and just post a bunch of stuff that nobody really wants to see. Because guess what? In the end, nobody will see it. So there's a very important thing about social media that you all need to understand if you don't already. And that is the primary focus of all of these social media platforms. I don't care if it's Facebook or if it's Instagram or, you name the social media provider. Their number one goal is to get you on that platform as much as possible and not to leave. This is a fundamental thing. I might say it multiple times during this conversation because it's that important. When you open up, and I'm going to talk a lot about Facebook because that's my preferred social media platform. You can apply all of this to really any social media platform. But when I click on my app on my phone and I open up Facebook, I'm constantly seeing stuff that I'm not interested in. That's going to make me press that button less. Like it's going to make me log into Facebook less. And that is the primary thing that Facebook is looking to do, is trying to get as many people on the platform for as long as possible every single day. Why? Well, the longer that you're on that platform, the more ads they can sell to advertisers. Simple as that. This is common, marketing strategy, marketing knowledge. And it makes sense. So it begs the question, like if you go on and what does the social media platforms do with content that they know people don't want to see? Well, what do? Well, they hide it. So there's like a little bit of a misconception sometimes with people that they think that if they post something, then all of their friends see it. And that's not the way it works, not at all. In fact, if you post something that like everybody wants to see, not only are your friends going to see it, but Facebook is going to show it to people who aren't even your friends yet, which is like the ultimate thing that you want in an ideal world. So when you go on Facebook or you go on Instagram and you post something that's generic and it's not that interesting and nobody really likes it or comments or engages in it, that's going to tell Facebook in real time that, this isn't really content that's going to keep people on the platform. So I'm actually going to show it to less people. And this is why, particularly with Facebook, putting your profile into professional mode is so important, because you need to be able to track when you do a post, am I getting results? And the first result that you're looking for is a lot of people to see it. The second thing is this generating any conversations for me? So again, getting back to the Keeping Current Matters or some generic thing, when you post something that nobody wants to see, Facebook isn't going to show it. So if I went on my social media profile right now, I have about 8,500 followers on my Facebook, personal Facebook page. If I post Keeping Current Matters, no exaggeration, I might get like 50 people to view it. And Facebook is going to realize that this isn't really something that people want to see. So I'm not going to show it to anybody else. Whereas when you post it, you post something that everyone wants to see, it's going to be shown to a lot more people. And there are times when I'll do a post that catches on and it's something that people want to see, and it'll go to 20, 25,000 people. That's not common. Like, that's not what I get normally. Normally, when I do a post and I put some thought behind it, I might get it to show to 2 to 3,000 people, right? So if I do that every day, I might get, 10, 15, 20,000 people in a week. Some of them are going to be repetitive, which, by the way, that's not a bad thing, right? Having the people in your sphere of influence see your message over and over again is not a bad thing. So concept number one is posting just to post isn't going to really help you. And if you're using professional mode, you're going to be able to see, am I posting content that people want to see or not? So there is a little bit of trial and error. I'm going to give you guys the principles today to follow. But when somebody says to me, what should I post? Well, you're going to have to trial and error it to see with your friends, with your audience, what are people liking? What aren't they liking? Et cetera. And I'll give some principles today, but it gives a little bit of trial and error. And it's funny because I gave maybe 5 minutes worth of this content to my seller group. And then the response back was, okay, well, like, this is confusing. Like, what do I post? And not understanding fully the concept of, like, you have to kind of find that out by doing your own post. But I am going to, again, give some of the principles today. One other thing I want to mention before I forget is people always talk about, do I use my personal profile or do I use a page? Now, this is another thing. Like, it's important to understand these concepts, because if you don't, you're going to get yourself into a whole bunch of wasted time. Obviously, our time is very valuable. So think about it like this. When was the last time you logged into Facebook and went on somebody's business page? When was the last time you were in Facebook and you saw content from someone's business page? It really doesn't happen. So there's a distinction here that you've got to understand. A business page will allow you to run ads. Okay. Everything that we're talking about today is organic or free. So the only reason why you would ever want to set up a business page is if you want to run ads from it. You want to pay Facebook to show your content, which I'm actually not a huge fan of for a lot of different reasons. But suffice it to say, nobody really wants to go on your business page for no reason. So you actually have to pay Facebook to get views on your business page. One of the most common mistakes I see people in real estate making is they put all this time into this business page that then nobody goes on, right? We don't want to waste our time. Compare that to your personal page, which, yeah, a lot of people want to go on it. They look you up by name. You post, you get a lot of views. If you post on your business page, it's going to show to almost no people. So just to be really clear, I wouldn't even think about a business page at all. Like, unless you're going to run ads, and I don't even recommend that, focus on your personal page. And I wanted to say that before I kind of forgot. All right. Another thing that I wanted to point out before I forgot is that if you're going to post on social media, this is going to sound obvious, but again, a lot of times these are common mistakes. You got to get to 5,000 friends, as many followers as you can, as soon as you possibly can. So I will see people worry, stress out, not know what to post when they have 300 friends. And it's like, well, in the best case scenario, which is unlikely, Facebook might show your post to 300 people. It's not enough. It's not even close to enough, especially when the stuff is free. So my recommendation, again, I want to say this stuff before I forget. You're going to add 15, 20, 30 people a day. Facebook won't let you add more. So, don't try to add. Well, you can try to add more. They'll just stop you. Facebook has all sorts of mechanisms in place to prevent spam for a lot of different reasons. And Facebook in general doesn't really love you operating your business off of Facebook. They, again, from the perspective of them, they want as many people as possible on their platform So Facebook isn't really necessarily for business. So we kind of have to do this, in a certain way. That is to say, if you don't already have 5,000 friends or 5,000 followers, get there as soon as you possibly can. Facebook does have a limit of the number of friends you can have. It's 5,000. It doesn't cap your followers. So you can have, a million followers. You can have 500,000 followers. You can have, however many followers you want. But the key here is we all want to think, I want to think I'm important enough that people are just going to friend request me and follow me. But the reality is I don't have 8,500 followers because 8,500 people followed me. It's because I proactively put effort into it. So every day, add 15, 20, 30 people. And if you have time, send them a Facebook message too on something. So I'll give you an example of what I do. You guys all know, I'm looking for partner deals. Our company, we flip homes. We partner with agents. We put up all the money. We do the construction. We split the profits with the agents 50-50. If you want to learn more about partnering with us, jump on my next call at www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. Again, that's www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. But I'm looking for partner deals. I'm looking for them all the time. Okay. So what I do is I make a list in my market of the agents that sell the most amount of properties. And I friend request them and I send them a message. Hey, have you heard about my partner program? If not, let's talk. And I do that every day. Now, I'm not suggesting that you personally do that because you could be looking for a lot of different types of business. But I do suggest that you add 20 or 30 people a day and potentially send them a Facebook message with something that you're looking to do or something that you can help them with or value of any kind. Okay. So that just needs to be part of your thing. Because again, when we talk about posting, the question I got is how do I post? That's not the question. The question is, how do I make money? You make money by having a lot of friends and a lot of followers, by posting really good content that people want to see so that it gets shown, and then having a really good call to action well, a lot of people saw it, but does that mean they're going to contact you? That's the other component to it. Okay. All right. So I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining this all. It is why, if you're listening right now and you're, on my seller team, it's why I didn't want to put all this in the chat. People on my seller team, they wanted me to give a 1-minute answer. It's not a 1-minute answer. I wish it was. I wish you could just go and buy Keeping Current Matters and then do a couple posts a week and it takes you 1 minute. But, once you understand this stuff, it shouldn't take you that long to produce content. You don't need to spend a lot of time, but you do need to understand how it works. So I talked about adding people every day. The other thing that you want to do is remove people once you get to 5,000. So you can only have 5,000 friends. At some point, you're going to need to remove people. That's probably far off into the future for most of you. But if you do need to remove people, you want to remove the people that aren't engaged with you. And there's programs that you can look at to say, oh, this person hasn't liked or commented or really looked at my posts in a long time, so I'm going to defriend them. And of course, you don't want to defriend your mom or your best friend or whatever, but there are going to be people, if you're following this strategy, that you don't really even know that well, and they're not engaged with you and they're not giving you a boost. So keep that in mind. At some point, you'll have that problem. Most of you won't have to deal with that right now. All right. So we talked about why canned stuff doesn't work. Why doesn't canned stuff work? Well, because Facebook really won't push it out because they know that people don't want to see it. So if you think about this logically, if you think about one of your friends who's not in real estate, and then you post this infographic about inventory. It's dude, I wanted to get this. I would have went on CNN Money. I would have went on realtor.com. I'm not opening Facebook to read your article, right? So even if they see it, they're not going to be super engaged. They're not going to love it. You're not going to get business from it. So it begs the question, what do they want to see? Well, think about what people are going on social media for. They're going on social media to connect. to see what their friends are up to, see what their family's up to. They like to see pictures. They like to see interesting things. They don't really want to like learn about real estate. So think about that. So what I think that you need to think about is what gets you the most engagement. And I'll just give you again a couple of like things that like work really well for me and just some thoughts. So if I'm talking about posting like an infographic, right? Somebody's on Facebook, they're gonna be like, oh, that's like kind of boring. I'm not really that interested in that. Versus like a picture of me with somebody or a picture of a group that I'm with, or just a picture of people that they know. What is that person more likely to click on? And if you look and you scroll down my social media account, you'll see that like pictures of me, they do a lot better. They get a lot more comments. They get a lot more likes. Pictures of me with somebody else, right? Why? Why does that happen? Because again, they're friends with me. They want to know about me and my life. They don't want to know about a stat. They don't want to know about real estate statistics. So if you go to like a social media training, it'll talk to you about like, like what what types of posts like might you want to do. And there's different types of posts that you might want to think about. Well, one thing that you always want to remind people of, they call it like a day in the life post. So real estate, we're lucky. It is like kind of interesting. So if you want somebody to know that you're in real estate or what you're doing, like a picture of you like at an open house or a picture of you at a closing table is going to get a lot more views than like an infographic without you kind of like being in it. All right. Um, Anything that has to do with, your success, pictures of properties, like listings that you have, are always going to do much better, right? Like if you have a beautiful house that you're listing, not a link, right? Links are really bad. But if you have like pictures of the property, they're going to do much, much better. Hey, come check out my open house. Picture of you at the open house with a bunch of pictures of the actual property. They're going to do a lot better. Another type of post that I like to do, and again, my target market are real estate agents. But if you look at my posts, I like to do like a question with the response. I'm with my answer in the comment section. It actually forces people to look in the comments. So, for example, I might say something like, how can real estate agents do deals with no money, do flips with no money? Check out the comments. That then forces people to go into the comments. And again, I have professional mode, so I can literally see how many people clicked on it, how many people viewed it. Now, another type of post that a lot of people don't love doing, but it's very effective, is just about you, things that you do. So if you scroll down my social media account, you'll find out really quickly who I am. Most of you already know I'm married. I have 4 kids. You probably all know that. You probably know that my boys play hockey, my daughter plays basketball. You'll know these things because I post about them. Some of it's actually funny because my wife laughs about this, but like a photo of me and my wife will get more views than almost any other post that I do, right? Because people want to learn about you. That's what they're on social media for, the connection, getting to know you, getting to understand you, getting to see like, is this somebody I might want to do business with? So sounds like counterintuitive probably to a lot of people. You would say, well, if I post a really good article from Keeping Current Matters about business, aren't they more likely to do business with me? The answer is no, because they're really not interested in that. We all kind of know in sales, like people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. You get them to know you by posting about you, right? Posting about your hobbies, what you do, your kids, your family, your friends, whatever. The more that you can do that, the better. So one more thing about social media that's super important. I should have mentioned this like in the very beginning, but you need to be authentic. When people meet me in real life after following me or being connected with me on Facebook, I will commonly get like, wow, I already feel like I know you. And then after they meet me, they're like, oh, I there's nothing different about like you in person versus you online. Yeah, because that's me. So a lot of times people will try to put out there a projection of themselves that they think that maybe people are going to like or might get them more business when in reality, people that are connected to you and already know you, like you for you. I know that sounds corny, but it's reality. So you don't have to project something that you're not. Just project who you are, whatever you like, whatever you don't like, and you're going to do far better. So these are all kind of like guiding principles to it, right? And again, like one thing I would highly suggest doing if you're listening to this is understanding that my target market are real estate agents. I try to get flip opportunities from real estate agents. I'm not perfect at this social media thing, but look at how many followers I have on Tommy Cafarella, and then look at how I'm posting, how frequent I'm posting, and how I'm doing it. You don't want to copy it exactly, right? First of all, you're probably not going after the same target audience as me. You're probably going after sellers or buyers of real estate. So you've got to tailor it a little bit, but creatively think about like, what is the type of content that your audience will actually like? How do you make it personalized to you? And then how do you do it on a regular basis? And then how do you monitor it um, by using professional mode to check every single day, like how many comments and how many views? Now, this is all well and good, right? This is all well and good. You are adding 20, 30, 40 people a day. You're sending people Facebook messages. You've got a really good profile. You're using professional mode. You're posting 3, 4, 5 times a week. This is all great, but that's not why we're doing this. We're doing this to get money in our pocket. So the next thing is, how do you actually monetize? Because it's really great. Like you have 100,000 followers and you have 30,000 people see a post, but did you get a client from it? Did you get a deal from it? Did you get what you wanted out of it? That's the real measure. If you get a ton of views and you get no business from it versus you get 5 views and you get business from it, you're going to figure out how to do more of the 5 view posts than the 100,000 posts because that's what's bringing money in the door. That's why we're doing this. I want to be clear. Like we're not trying to be influencers. At least I don't teach that. Like you are trying to generate income from doing this. Okay. So you need what I call, well, I don't call it, this isn't my phrase, but you need a call to action. You need a reason why somebody has seen your post to then get into your funnel, to then have a conversation with you. My business is going to be different than yours, but my mechanisms for doing it, I host a weekly call every single week. I ask people in my posts, I say, do you want more information on this? Send me a DM. Well, let me define. A call to action is a way for somebody to look at what you've posted, say, hey, I want to learn more, and then a way to contact you. So every week, you guys know I promote it on the podcast, www.partnerwithagенtinvestor.com. I get people on my call every single week. I get 20 to 40 people every single week on my call. That's one way. I'll ask people to DM me if they want more information. People that comment or like on my post, I might send them a message, right? This is another strategy. Like you don't have to do this all the time, but you post something, somebody likes the post or comments, hey, how you doing? Feel them out, see if they have any interest in what you're doing. But you always have to have a strategy then that doesn't involve you hoping that they reach out to you. There's going to be something for them to click on. There's going to be a training session. Like if you're working with buyers, come to my first time home buyer seminar. Or this week I'm doing one-on-one buyer consults or whatever it is. Now, those calls to action should be in a lot of your posts, not all of them, but in some of them. And sometimes you just want to do a call to action to do a call to action, and that is the post. So there will be times where I'll post just simple, hey, any real estate agents out there, do you have any deals that are good for cash buyers? And, type in the comment or send me a DM if you have anything. And most of the time, because I've posted a lot and people get to know me, they get to know what I'm about, they know my life, I'll get people that will reach out to me. Hey, I saw your message. I didn't even know you were looking for deals. And I'm like, how could you not know? But they don't know Because that's another thing you have to assume, right? On social media, even though you've posted about something 5 times, somebody may have only seen it once. So it's repetition, repetition, repetition. Like I said, be yourself. Look at other people's, don't just look at my account, look at other people's accounts. And the last thing I'm going to say about this is to make sure that you become an expert and focus on posting one call to action, like one thing. You guys know I post about my agent partnership program. That's my main call to action. That's what I talk about 90% of the time. 10% of the time, I talk about my seller group. How can agents get on my seller appointments? But I'm mainly focused on the agent partnership thing. That's where most of my content is tailored. That's what I want to be known for. That's how I'm most profitable. So you want to make sure, like, don't post about buyers and then sellers and then investing. Like, you're going to confuse your audience. They're not going to know what you're looking for. Be specific, be an expert in one area. That's how you'll get the most amount of business. So 36 minutes later. Yeah, so we've been going for a while. And those are the high level things. To be successful on social media, you've got to have the following. I'm going to recap this really quick. First of all, you got to have a lot of friends and followers. Like, if you got 300 friends and followers, add people every day. You've got to get that up. It's going to take time, but you have to get that number up to a good amount. Second thing is you need to post regularly, like 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. And you need to post content that you're getting clicks and likes. And you measure that by going into professional mode. And then lastly, you have to have a good call to action. So I will tell you, like, every single week, I get inquiries from agents sending me partner deals from social media. It'll take a little bit of time to build up, right? But you should be getting conversations on a weekly basis once you do this for 30, 60, 90 days. If you're not getting that, then you're doing something wrong. You're probably not following some of the strategy that I talked about on this call. And to be clear, I haven't made it clear enough. Reposting stuff that nobody really wants to see and it's not super interesting is not going to get you business. Okay, so it's important to do social media the right way. Once you do this, not only should you be getting leads every week, but it should only take you 10 minutes a day. If you look and you scroll down my social media page, you might think that, like, I'm spending a ton of time doing this, but it's really 10 minutes a day. And all I really do every single day, all I really do, and nothing complicated, is I think about an idea, I think about something that I want to share, and then 10 minutes later, it's out there. It's posted on my social media accounts. I also email it to people, etc. So it's fairly quick. So I could, obviously kind of continue to go on and on about this stuff. But I think you guys get the gist. Now, of course, like, if you guys have questions on how to do any of this, I know there will be some questions. Just jump on my next call. They're all live, www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. Happy to answer questions live. Follow me, shoot me a message on Facebook, and, we can go from there. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't give my last call to action, which is that we're having an event coming up that you guys can attend on our partnership program. It's in person in the greater Boston area. It's actually in Boston. It's free. You can go by going to www.agentinvestorevent.com. I cover a lot of the agent partnership stuff virtually, but there is nothing like going to an event, meeting people in person, and getting that stuff in person. If you want to learn more about the event, go to www.agentinvestorevent.com. And again, if you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. Thanks for tuning in today.